Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. Gun review time. Don't do these too often. Say hello to the CMMG Resolute 200 series MKGS 9mm pistol caliber carbine or carbine.
And do they take Glock mix?
I don't know. What do you think? I've had this CMMG Resolute 200 series in-house for just a little over a year now. I felt with our 9mm testing, since that's one of my more expansive loads that I do a lot of barrel length testing in, I felt we needed a 16-inch barrel to figure out whether or not this extra barrel length over, say, the Evo gave us any added performance benefit. I don't want to dive a whole lot into that in this review, but from the data it seems like we can still gain quite a bit of performance out of 9mm in a 16-inch pistol caliber carbine. The Resolute 200 series is a middle offering of the models. Core functionality between the 100, 200, and 300 series is identical. However, there are various part upgrades that are included with each series change. The 200 series includes an ambidextrous rear sling plate, their patented ripstock, Magpul MOE furniture, and an SV muzzle brake, to name a few of the upgrades over the 100 series. All series include their M-LOK free float handguards, as well as Type 3 hard anodizing, standard 70-75 T6 aluminum upper and lower receivers. The 16-inch barrel is 1 in 10 twist, nitrided, and 1/2 inch by 28 threads. Although this sample of mine is an early model that has 1/2 inch by 36, which really messed me up the day I went to shoot a suppressor and I didn't have a 1/2 inch by 36 thread piston. Like the 45 Banshee and the MK57 that I reviewed in the past, the 9mm uses an oversized paddle magazine release here and operates off of their patented radial blowback design. Essentially, the bolt carrier is very AR-15-ish, as you can see here. The bolt itself is spring-loaded, and when it interfaces with the barrel extension, it will slightly rotate to lock in place. CMMG has a few videos discussing this design, and I will link them in the description, which should be okay for our friends at YouTube Policia. You can purchase a tuning weight kit separately, which installs in the rear here with a roll pin if you have the need to tune the gun to run a particular load. The entire time I reviewed this gun, from 115 to the 165 grain hush that I used, I didn't have to use any of the tuning weights to get good ejection and extraction and function out of this gun. The 200 series weighs 6 pounds 8.7 ounces with an unloaded 15 round magazine. Fully collapsed, our overall length is 33.5 inches with the muzzle brake, and with the ripstock fully extended we measure out to 36.75 inches. There are roll pins that you can install in this ripstock if you find a particular length you want to keep yours at, because I did note when shooting this gun from a rest, because this ripstock does go back and forth a little bit, I found it was really easy to almost somewhat bump fire the trigger. Field stripping is accomplished just like any AR-15. You can remove both lower takedown pins, and the upper and lower separate. You can pull the bolt carrier group out of the rear of the gun. I will note that after a lot of suppressor use and general firing, because of the blowback nature of this gun, there was a lot of carbon buildup on the back side of this bolt carrier right here behind the bolt, as well as inside the chamber extension. I ended up using a 223 chamber brush to help clean some of that carbon out of there after about 1,500 rounds. Since we've had this gun for quite some time, we've run approximately 15 to 20, maybe even more different types of ammo through the gun with great success. We were having issues with brass getting just dropped in the chamber upon extraction, and then the bolt would come forward trying to load another round and smash the brass into the round in the chamber, and the issue ended up being that the ejector spring was worn out. CMMG sent us a revised ejector spring, and that pretty much took care of the problem. There are a couple threads online about life expectancy of that spring, and there are varying theories about whether it has to do with excessive headspace, but I can't really say either way. So long-term use in high-volume shooters may want to think about having spare ejector springs on hand. We continue to use a 16-inch as our accuracy tester 9mm and out to pistol distances 25 to 35 yards. We've gotten really good accuracy out of this gun using a basic 1:6 power scope from Primary Arms. Their mil-spec trigger isn't horrible and has a pull weight of right around 5 pounds and 3 or 4 ounces. The beauty of all AR-based PCCs is the modularity with many of the available AR parts that can fit practically anyone's budget. You can go, $50 for a trigger upwards of over $300, and if you don't like the included one, they're easy to change out. From a PCC standpoint, the Resolute 200 series does everything I needed to do. It takes common Glock mags from the 10 round to 33 rounds, and they just plain work. I'm not needing to spend a fortune on a magazine that's going to make me question its reliability, and they share commonality with my Glock 19. They do drop free from the gun, the 15 round ones as well as the 33 round ones do drop free. CMMGs on average run a bit more than, say, a Palmetto State Armory budget build, but their quality is hard to argue with at that price point. Definitely not knocking Palmetto State Armory in any way, as I run a ton of their stuff, but certain aspects of the CMMG quality make them stand out. Things like uniform hard anodizing on all of their uppers and lowers. You're not getting two different shades or textures of anodizing. The upper and lower fitment is very tight as well. No odd or off-putting machine marks of any kind on the external surfaces. The case deflector on the PCC versions could be enlarged, because I pretty much noticed that, at least when my use was, that the brass was actually hitting the opening edge of the ejector port instead of the actual case deflector. Depending on if you run any of those tuning weights or perhaps throw an extra power ejector spring in there and you shoot left-handed, you could get some brass to the face, but that's really not an issue for right-handed shooters. As we close out on this video, I'd like to take the time to thank CMMG for sending out this Resolute 200 series to further our 9mm testing. I hope my viewers are finding this data helpful. I do have to return this gun to CMMG, but if you'd like to see me extend the time that I can have this gun, or perhaps get a newer model for more testing, definitely leave a comment below. If you found anything that you liked or didn't like about this video, always leave me a comment below. I'm always looking for ways to better my reviews. I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters and you all for watching. I hope everyone that is watching around the world is staying safe during this current health crisis. And until next time, catch you at the range. Good old 158 grain Fiocchi. See if you guys can hear the bullet hit the backstop down there.
from here along with it.
Okay.
Use duct tape, my god.
Their mil-spec, their mil-spec